So if you haven't noticed, or maybe you've been living under a rock, according to all the news outlets, we are either presently in a recession or we're definitely headed into a recession. Regardless of how you look at it, many Americans feel that their wallets and their bank accounts are currently going through an economic retraction. Smart people and economists right here in this country are noting the job layoffs, and these same economists are predicting major job losses for Americans in 2023. Now, to be fair, not to be doom and gloom, there are plenty of businesses right now begging for employees. And there's about 1.6 jobs available for every unemployed person right now in America. But if a recession hits hard in 2023 and does impact the job market and economy as a whole, here is a list of about 7 or so places to live in the Carolinas, both North and South Carolina, so the recession doesn't hit you too hard. These places, you're sort of insulated against the recession because of the diverse economies. Now, before we jump into this list, let me introduce myself. I am Sir Ashley. I am both a realtor and an investor here in the Carolinas. And on this channel, we talk about all things Carolinas. We talk about economy, we talk about housing, anything you can think of, we talk about it on this channel. Now, if you're interested in videos about the Carolinas, go ahead, hit that subscribe button and tap on that bell icon so you can be notified every time I drop a video about the Carolinas. Now let's jump into the list. Also, it is imperative that I acknowledge that in the fall of 2022, North Carolina ranked as the top state in our nation for business. In 2021, the state of North Carolina was the 4th fastest growing state in total population growth and was a leader in migration of households from other states. It's also noted that both North and South Carolina has advantages over other states in the total cost of living and cost of doing business and the cost of higher education. Now, the first city on this list of the best places to live in the Carolinas during a recession is Forest Acres, South Carolina. Now, you may be wondering, where the hell is Forest Acres, South Carolina? Well, it is a suburb of Columbia, South Carolina. And Columbia, South Carolina has a very diversified economy with healthcare as the major industry in Columbia. And some of the other big employers in the area is the Palmetto Health Hospital System, Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina, Palmetto GBA, and the University of South Carolina. Of course, go Gamecocks. Now, the other major industries in Columbia, South Carolina is the U.S. military, with Fort Jackson nearby, also computer software. Computer Science Corporation is a big player in this space and in the economy of Columbia, South Carolina. Now, both Carolinas are big in manufacturing, and in Columbia, South Carolina, you get tons of manufacturing there in that area as well. You have Michelin, International Paper, Honeywell, Westinghouse Electric, and Bose Technology, just to name a few. And there's over 70 foreign affiliated companies and 14 in the Fortune 500 companies right here in the Forest Acres, Columbia, South Carolina region. Now, I mentioned earlier that Forest Acres is a suburb of Columbia, South Carolina, so Forest Acres benefits from the employer diversification Columbia offers. Forest Acres also has a very, and I do mean highly reasonable cost of living. You can get a nice home for $300,000 to $400,000, and the schools are rated high. And according to niche.com, Forest Acres ranks number 8 on their list for best places for young professionals in South Carolina. Now, the next best place to live during a recession in the Carolinas is also in South Carolina, and that city is North Charleston. As the name implies, North Charleston is a suburb of Charleston, South Carolina. Now, Charleston, South Carolina is a tourist destination, but it has the economic diversity that you want during a recessionary period. Aside from tourism, Charleston, South Carolina has tons of economic industries that you should not overlook if you're thinking about where to be during a recession. Charleston has the stability of government jobs. There's Joint Base Charleston and Charleston Air Force Base. Charleston is located right on the coast of the Atlantic, and there's ports and railroads that provide a lot of great jobs to the citizens of that area. Now, I'm not sure when you're watching this, but I'm filming this in late 2022. And we just had an agreement between the railway unions and their employers because We as a country cannot function without a proper railroad system, and Charleston is a major port and hub for the railways. So that will always be an industry for work and employment right there. Charleston also has over a dozen manufacturing and technology companies right in the area. Some of the huge names are Boeing Aircraft, Daimler, Hess Corporation, Robert Bosch Manufacturing, just to name a few. And North Charleston is better insulated during a recession because the cost of living in North Charleston is less of that than in Charleston, South Carolina. And the residents of North Charleston get to still take advantage of all the employment opportunities that Charleston provides, but they have a cheaper cost of living because they live in North Charleston. Now, the next two cities on this list I'm going to put together as one. And they're the last two cities that I'm going to touch on that are in South Carolina. And I'm going to put them as one city because they're right next to each other. And I'm talking about Tegakay and Fort Mill, South Carolina. Both Fort Mill and Tegakay, South Carolina, are towns located in the greater Charlotte metropolitan area, and as such, it has a diverse economy with a number of employers in many, many different sectors. Here are a few industries that contribute to the economy of both Fort Mill and Tegakay, South Carolina. Manufacturing. Fort Mill and Tegakay has a number of manufacturing companies, including Honeywell and Bridgestone, which employ a significant number of people right in this area. Also, healthcare. Fort Mill has a number of hospitals and healthcare facilities, including the Piedmont Medical Center, Novant Health Presbyterian Medical Center, and these facilities employ a large number of people in the healthcare industry. Now, there's also professional and business services in Tegakay and Fort Mill, and those services include accounting and legal services. These businesses also employ a significant number of people. And I cannot forget about retail. Fort Mill has a number of shopping centers and retail outlets, and one of the major employers in Fort Mill and Tegakay is the education system. Now, Fort Mill and Tegakay in York County, South Carolina, boasts some of the best ratings for schools, public schools in the country. They're top 4% in the country, and they employ a large number of quality faculty. So overall, Fort Mill and Tegakay has a strong yet diverse economy, and that economy provides a range of jobs and opportunities for its residents. Now, let's move on and look at the cities in North Carolina that are poised to withstand an economic downturn. But before we do, I know I touched on it earlier. CNBC recently rated North Carolina as the top state to do business in. The study found that North Carolina's credit rating is pristine and saw 6.7% of economic growth last year. And North Carolina had one of the nation's strongest job market growth. So the first city in North Carolina that I want to touch on that will provide you a safe place or a safe-ish place, because I can't guarantee you anything, it's all about probabilities. So the first city I want to touch on in North Carolina is Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And Winston-Salem is known for its strong economy because it is in the Triad area and has several major industries that will allow it to withstand an economic recession. One of the industries that make Winston-Salem resilient against a recession is the healthcare industry. Winston-Salem has a number of hospitals, and it employs several nurses, doctors, and staff throughout the region. And some of those hospitals and healthcare facilities include Novant Health Forsyth Medical Center and Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center. Manufacturing is also huge in Winston-Salem. And there's companies like Hanes Brand, you've heard of Hanes, Reynolds American, and Krispy Kreme. Like Fort Mill and Tegakay, Winston-Salem also provides professional and business services. Now, you cannot talk about the economy of Winston-Salem without bringing up education. The education system, both primary and secondary, is a huge driving force in the area. Now, that area, just in Winston-Salem, has Wake Forest and Salem College, as well as Winston-Salem State University. But in the Triad area, you have several. I'm thinking of maybe 6 or 7 universities right there that employ tons of people and is a huge driver of that economy. The next city on the list is Raleigh, North Carolina. Raleigh is the capital of North Carolina, and it is often considered a strong economy. with major employers in industry such as healthcare, education, and technology. Now, I'm going to also include Durham when I talk about Raleigh. Although they're not the same city, they're part of the Triangle region, and people that live in Durham sometimes work in Raleigh. Some people that live in Raleigh work in Durham, so I'm going to include both of them. And both of them have diverse economies. Technology is huge. Tech in the Triangle area has grown tremendously in the past 10 to 15 years. And healthcare has been a staple in the Triangle region. Now, some of the healthcare facilities in the area is Duke University and Wake Med Health. There's also education. Education is big in North Carolina, and the Triangle is no different. You have Shaw University, you have Duke University, you have Central North Carolina Central University. I am a proud legal eagle. I went to Central Law School. You also have North Carolina State University and William and Peace University. And I almost forgot to mention Wake Tech. So all of those educational institutions provide a lot of jobs for the residents of the Triangle area. And the Triangle, UNC Chapel Hill. How could I forget about that? Now, I mentioned that technology has grown tremendously in the past 10 to 15 years in the Triangle area. You have major employers like IBM, Red Hat, Apple, and SAS. Now, when many people think of Raleigh, they think of tech and they think of healthcare, but they overlook the manufacturing part of the economy of Raleigh. Raleigh has companies like Caterpillar and Simons, just to name a few. Overall, Raleigh has a very strong and diverse economy, which you need during an economic downturn. You do not want a city or a location dependent on one industry or one manufacturer. Raleigh has tech, healthcare, and manufacturing, as well as education. Now let's talk about the area with the best economy in the Carolinas, and that is Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte, North Carolina is the largest city in the state of North Carolina, and it is known for its thriving and diverse economy. Here are just a few of the industries that contribute to the economy of Charlotte. Financial services. Charlotte is home to a number of financial institutions, including, but not limited to, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Ally Bank. And all three of those institutions employ thousands of people right here in the Charlotte region. The next industry is healthcare. Charlotte is known for its healthcare and has a number of hospitals and healthcare facilities, including Atrium Health and Novant Health, which both employ thousands and thousands of people in the area. Now, as a former practicing attorney in the Charlotte region, Charlotte offers tons of professional and business services, and they include a lot of legal services and accounting. A lot of document review legal jobs take place right here in Charlotte because it is one of the cheaper metros to have lawyers come into. Now, manufacturing is also huge in the Charlotte area. You have, just to name a few, I know I'm going to forget quite a bit, but you have Honeywell and Bridgestone both in the area. In education, Charlotte is home to a number of universities. You have University of North Carolina at Charlotte, Johnson and Wales University, J.C. Smith University, and Central Piedmont Community College. And every one of those higher education institutions employ a large number of people. So I almost forgot one of the largest employers and sectors right here in Charlotte, North Carolina, Duke Energy. And energy is a huge sector for employment right here in the Charlotte region. Duke Energy employs anywhere from 10 to 20,000 people right here in the Charlotte area. It is a major driver to our economy. I don't know how I forgot that, but that is another reason why the economy of Charlotte, North Carolina is very resilient. So if you're looking for a place to live in the Carolinas to best insulate yourself during a recession, this was a list of several cities in both South and North Carolina that are best situated and suited to withstand a harsh economic downturn. I hope this video is beneficial, and if you're looking to buy or sell or invest in real estate here in the Carolinas, please reach out to my team and I. I am Sir Ashley, and I am here to help. Talk soon.